Hey, welcome back to another G.F.E. Got Family and Everything Else podcast. My name is Kevin, and today I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about another important subject topic that I encountered yesterday when I was actually speaking to a coworker, my manager, for a matter of fact. Um, she had gone to go visit her family for the holiday, and then I think her first day back was yesterday, and we got to talking and having a conversation about politics and all that. And then later in the conversation, we moved to um, her talking about something I found very interesting. For the longest time, for some reason, I always thought that my manager was a Christian, but based off of what she was telling me yesterday, I was sadly mistaken. So we got into the conversation about how people. She mentioned that she goes and sees a fortune teller, someone that obviously tells her about what her life is going to be, kind of enlightens her to give her the information that she feels she needs to carry out the year, her day, whatnot. And she was telling me that she goes and visits this person that's in Tokyo a couple times, and it just kind of had me set back, and I was just listening to her, and I believe that was a good opportunity for me to share the gospel, but we didn't have much time because I had to start working. But I just allowed her to continue, and then just to find out a little bit more about what she was saying. And I do pray that God will present me the opportunity to have this kind of further discussion with her regarding this. And it had me thinking the entire time, and especially when I came home from work. I shared with my wife about the conversation that we had, and it just had me thinking, how many people actually go to psychics? How many people actually go to mediums, or just have that different type of belief system that they go to an individual person to get the information that they need, they feel like that will be life changing to them. Some of the things my manager was saying, that this person would tell them like, hey, you're going to have a great year. Like this year for 2025, she told her that starting February 5th, this is going to be a wonderful year for her, a great year. And so just to see the reaction off of my manager's face, she just seemed very excited. She seemed happy, and she was just like, wow, really? And then she began to tell me that there were times where she was instructed not to do anything, and she went against I guess the fortune teller's request or best wishes, and then she said that things have been bad for her. So she said, in many cases, her fortune teller, this woman, is incredibly accurate in what she says. Now, for me, knowing me and my relationship with God, and then being a Christian, I don't believe in those things um, as being good, and that's just me being honest, and that's just off of biblical teaching. But I wanted to kind of dive more into that, and it had me curious to thinking about how many people actually go to psychics, mediums, tarot readers, whatnot. And is there a large population? Is there a large group of people that actually believe in that stuff? And I do have a friend, and his wife, she kind of dabbles in that. She kind of believes that kind of thing. Uh, she more so just looks for something that'll give her the news that she's looking for. But I wanted to do some reading, so I pulled up the site, and Mystic Mag, and it kind of breaks it down a little bit. Now, I don't know how entirely accurate this is, but it seems to be pretty accurate about psychic mediums and all that stuff and what's going on in the world. And then it's talking about, between men and women, on who's stronger in their belief system and whatnot. So I wanted to go ahead and just cover this, and then also at the same time pull up some biblical references on what to do if you do happen to fall into this situation where somebody does tell you something that you never told anybody, but they seem to be correct, and then how dangerous it is to actually follow people like this, because they can definitely lead you down a track that you don't want to go down, just in my opinion. And I also wanted to just kind of touch on some things on how damaging it can be for not only yourself, but for your family, for your friends, because you can get scammed out of it sometimes. and end up going broke because you are just seeking to find more information. They may be right on one instance, and then you're just shoveling and shelling out more money just to find out more and more and more and more. And so it's just a dangerous road to go down. And I just wanted to go ahead and talk more about it. And but yeah, let me just go ahead and talk about this, about spiritual beliefs. And I'll just go a little bit, but I'll go ahead and link this into the description for you all to check it out for yourselves. But first, let's just talk about the spiritual beliefs. First, people love the enlightenment and the guidance of a psychic medium or a fortune teller that can bring to them. So it looks like in this section, what they're going to talk about, how many people consult a psychic, and who are they? I don't know if you guys remember that old show. There was this guy. He claimed to be a medium, but he had a TV show where he would just, pick random people out of the audience. I mean, I don't know how random, if he knew them or if he spoke to them before, but he definitely had a lot of people fooled or believing into what he was saying. And they would give him a little bit of clues, and then he would kind of predict or say that he's speaking or contacting the person that may have died. And people were sitting there shocked and amazed. This was something my dad would put on, and he was like kind of interested in watching this. I don't know if my dad actually believed it, but he shared it with me. And I was young. I was like, oh wow, it's kind of creepy that he knows all this. But of course, thankfully, as I get older and in my walk with God, I'm learning more and more about how dangerous these people can be, or that type of belief system can be. But based on the study from the YouGov, around 1 in 5, 22% of Americans say that they have consulted a fortune teller, medium, or a psychic at some point in their life. So 72% say no, 22% say yes, and 6%, I don't know if you're not sure. I think you're pretty sure, should be pretty sure if you actually spoken and seek this out. And this, of course, was based on a survey of 1,000 U.S. adults, so the numbers definitely could be different. So among the respondents who are more spiritually attuned, women are more likely to have seen a psychic or medium than men. So 33% men, 67% women. I've heard this before. I've never really seen much men going towards a psychic or looking for a type of fortune teller or anything like that. But in fact, this is a common theme that returns throughout these statistics. Women are more likely to engage in psychic activities than men, which perhaps points towards greater openness and acceptance of spiritual beliefs. I will say this: my friend's wife. It is easier for me to have a conversation with her in regarding God, and because to me, what it seems like what she's trying to do is that she's trying to seek truth. She's trying to seek something that just makes more sense, something that's for her to understand. And so as this says, a lot of women are a little bit more open to that, to finding out more truth, per se. So female psychics too are more likely to see another psychic than their male counterparts. Among psychics and tarot readers, 67% of survey women said they've been consulted by another psychic. Just 13% of male psychic tarot readers said the same. That's quite far below the national average in the U.S. But let's just continue. How often do psychics use service? You can see less than once a month, once or twice a month, 2 to 5 times a month, over once a week. That right there, to me, what that tells me is that just so many people are just trying to seek truth. They're trying to seek some kind of good news, and they just can't handle anything bad. And when you visit people like that kind of tell you what you want to hear, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. So belief in psychics. I was speaking with my wife this morning actually about psychics, and in Japan I found an article where they said frighteningly there are quite a few psychics here that are insanely accurate in what their readings are, and had me thinking like, ugh, okay. Before I used to think it was all a bunch of like false and not true. I can't believe these people are falling for it. But again, like I said, in my walk and my journey with the Lord, and the more and more I have a relationship with God, I'm realizing that some of these people are actually, they do have visions or things that they know that they've never been told before, that they tell their customers. And why is that? Now, it's because it's a demonic being. A long time ago, I'm sure you guys know the show Ghost Hunters. There's a lot of ghost shows out there, and I used to watch that. I used to enjoy it because it used to make it'd be fascinating for me to watch. But just listening to some of the hosts in that show, when they're sitting there trying to communicate with whoever they're trying to communicate with, and they think it may be that individual's spirits just lingering around, when in fact it's not that person at all. It's a demonic being that is mimicking that person, feeding into the person's emotion, making them believe that they are actually speaking to their grandpa or their mom or their child. And then what happens is that it draws them down a path that they should not go. They're just continuing to seek answers. They're just continuing to pay money because they want to stay in contact with, when it's not that individual at all. When we die, we either go one of two places. We go for all eternity into the presence of God, or we go all eternity separated from God, where there's no in between. There is no in between. But with these psychics and these ghost hunters and all that, they like to make you think that there is an in between, or these spirits have unfinished business, so they're just staying around or hanging around. When you're not contacting your loved one at all. It's just demons that are insanely clever that feed into your emotions, making you think that you're contacting them. And then you have these psychics that pretty much fuels the fire, because yes, they're getting readings and they're getting visions and stuff that they've never had before, and they're giving you the information, but they don't understand that the information that's giving to them is demonic. They think that they have some kind of a spiritual gift from God, when that's not the case at all. And I'll go into that later about what God thinks about all this. And then again, it can just lead down a path of destruction. There's no good that can come from it, to be perfectly honest, because you start putting your belief in a person rather than God himself. And actually, this actually has me reminded of with false beliefs, false things that go on in this world, where people pay attention to it and then they again pay their money. And this has happened many times throughout history. But what happened here in Japan, with the prime minister being assassinated, I believe last year or the year before, so what happened was the person that ended up killing him, he created a gun for that, but the motive behind it is because they were broke. And they believed that the prime minister was part of this false religion. And so what happened was, this individual's mother was giving so much money to this false belief that it ended up making them go in debt, and causing her to go in debt, because she was just shoveling out more money for answers and believing in something that's not true, which led to, sadly, the prime minister being assassinated, because he may have had some sort of a connection to this organization. That's still, I don't know if it's fact or not, but many people says that he has some sort of a tie to it, but not responsible for taking the person's money. But that's how the son viewed it, because he got information saying that, okay, he was probably part of this organization. This organization drained money from my mom, which caused her to go bankrupt and go into debt, which affected her, which affects me. And so it's just, I'm going to seek someone that I know that might be part of that organization, just to shut them up and show what you have done to us. And that's the dangers of what could happen when you go to mediums, psychics, all that. They can provide you false information. You can give them money and money and money and money. Go broke. It's a financial risk. And then what happens? You don't get the answers you're looking for, and you have no money because you started to put your faith into something that's false. They may have been accurate at 1 or 2 points, but then to you, that may be just enough that, okay, maybe I need to find out more answers. No, that's not how it works. And it's just it's I'm not trying to knock these individuals. They're just misguided. And this is just an opportunity for us brothers and sisters in Christ to kind of call this out and then go out into the world. This is exactly why Jesus says go out into the world and preach the gospel. We must share the truth. And this is exactly what Satan and his minions, demons, want. To pull as many people away from God, pull as many people away from the truth as he can, and follow down a path of lies. It may sound sweet and amazing, but why is that? Well, one, Satan is, well, he's Lucifer, but he was like one of the most powerful angels. But right now, what is he doing? He's masquerading around like he's an angel of light. He's making people believe that this is from God when it's not. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the same thing with his demons. They all want to tell you one thing that is not real, just to draw you away from the truth. So we have a New Age beliefs, and this study responds across a wide range of demographics were tested based on their agreement to 4 New Age beliefs. So as you can see, Christianity looks like all U.S. adults. So believe spiritual energy can be located in physical things. 42% believe in physics. 41 believe in reincarnation. 33 believe in astrology. 29. The fact that Christians believe in reincarnation, it's like, to me, just showing to me like what Bible are they reading, what belief system are they following, when it's you are not born again. If you are born again, what you are born again as a new believer when you confess and give your life to Christ, and then after you die, you get for all eternity in heaven. But you don't come back as something else. And believe in astrology, that the only answers that you want is when you read the Bible and you seek God. So all of this, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but from what I'm seeing, it's just not right. Wow. Net belief in at least one. No, I don't believe in psychics. I don't believe in reincarnation, astrology. Watch it, look in the stars and all that. That's awesome, but that's all it is just awesome and amazing of what God has created. There's no sign, no answers to that. Believe spiritual energy can be located in physical things. No, I don't believe that at all either. Across the board, that's not Christianity right here at all. Yeah. The belief in mediums, belief in fortune tellers. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and link this for you to go check it out, because this is just some pretty good information to find out for yourself. But let me just go ahead and move to what the Bible happens to say about this. And what I'm reading out of is Deuteronomy 18:14. And God is actually talking about what is abominable practices. So teachings that are false and what to stay away from. And he lists it right here for us. He says, when you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering. There have been, I forgot what the tribe is, but they are known for killing their child and burning them alive as an offering, which is ridiculous. I need to go back on that and check that out. Actually, you know what? Let's find that out. Who was that? Excuse me. Okay. As offerings. All right. The sacrifice of the captive Midianite virgin girls of Yahweh war against them. So the Mennonites, The child sacrifice is carried out in the Gehenna by yeah. So I believe that was the Mennonites. All right, and anyone who practices divine divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or who inquires of the dead, for whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you are about to dispossess, listen to fortune tellers and to diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do this. Makes it clear as day on what we should not be practicing. And he's driving them out before they arrive, but he was just saying these are things that you should not be doing yourself. And if you check out 2 Corinthians 11:16, and I mentioned this earlier, just like not too long ago, about what Satan is doing. But if you look at 2 Corinthians 11 through 16, and it says, "And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is no surprise if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. Their end will correspond to their deeds." So Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. He's going to disguise himself as something that is positive in your mind of a loved one that you remembered, and to make you think that you might be contacting them. Or even his servants might do the same thing, disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. So you may feel like, oh, I'm talking to my grandpa, I'm talking to my daughter or my son, but you're not. Satan and his minions are clever. Again, they feed off of what your emotions and your thoughts and your memories, making you feel like you might be actually contacting them, when in all actuality and reality you are not. So their end will correspond with their deeds. And lastly, I wanted to go ahead and talk about this on 2 Timothy 3:17, on as a Christian, as a person that is seeking truth, as Christians that we want to reach out and speak to the world, sharing the gospel, we must also understand this while we are in our walk, is to practice the teachings, because it will help us and guide us in our way of communicating with the world. It says, "All scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work." So we must practice reading the scriptures, God's word, praying, staying in constant communication with our fellow brothers and sisters, because this will help us go out into the world and teach the truth and fight against all these spiritual battles and evils that's going on in this world. So I just wanted to go ahead and make this episode for you. I pray for everyone to seek the truth, and the truth is Jesus Christ, having a relationship with God. As Jesus says, the truth will set you free. He is the truth. He is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. So I highly encourage to seek God, pray and ask God, if you are going through a situation in life where you are confused, or you're just having a little bit of trouble, or you're struggling, ask God to reveal himself to you, to help you and provide you the wisdom that you need. And God will not hide himself from you if you are speaking from your heart. So I want to thank you for today's episode, watching or listening to today's episode. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe to go ahead and expand this channel for the kingdom of God. And as always, if you want life, choose Christ. God bless.